Larry Kudlow was on Fox and Friends this morning arguing why. I don't know if this is as funny, if we got to do this bit to make it as funny.
Of course we do.
But arguing that, talking about praising the Democrats for raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour and trying to come up with reasons why that's a bad thing.
Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, we've heard $15 minimum wage. Now she's saying, how about $20 an hour? One of my best friends owns some restaurants down in Florida, and I wrote her and I said, what do you think about this? Would you be able to survive? She said, quote, that would kill us. I don't know that we could survive having to pay that. Actually, I'm quite sure we wouldn't. Then they would not have any jobs.
Well, okay, interesting point. Look, actually, a recent study by the Congressional Budget
Larry
Office.
Kudlow, you know what Larry Kudlow really wants to ask? She's like, so what would they do with all the alcohol?
Do you have alcohol or serve alcohol?
Sell that at 75 cents to the dollar, because if that's possible, you could just ship it up to me.
Yeah, you got a markup, and then you can ship it, and then they can pick up extra work hours. Alcohol at my place.
So full bar, right?
Full bar. Well, the people who work there, are they black? Because we got more black employment there. Donald Trump. I'm drunk.
The thing that I did not catch the first time, her friend owns multiple restaurants.
Maybe a bit overextended there.
Yeah, or maybe you've been able to build your entire business on exploiting people who are working for you. I mean, it's like, look, if you got one restaurant, you're struggling, and it's like, I hire two people, and I'm there every day, and I'm kicking ass, and
like Dracula looking at a newspaper saying, like, sucking blood to be outlawed. This is going to kill me.
Right, exactly.
It's going to completely put me out of business.
No sympathy for the small business tyrants.
Well, that's the thing, is that I even wonder, like, how small a business it is. Like, you've got multiple, just roll it back on that, because I didn't catch it the first time.
My friend, the CEO of Applebee's,
honestly,
said that we would be entirely eliminated.
Honestly, this is not a situation where it's like, it's just me and my family. We work the restaurant. We have two people here. Now, of course, we feed them every day and this and that. This is
in a situation like, say, small business.
Right.
There's only a few people. There's an example. You got your own little enterprise.
Wage. Now she's saying, how about $20 an hour? One of my best friends owns some restaurants down in Florida, and I wrote her and I said, what do you think about this? Would you be able to survive? She said, quote, that would kill us. I don't know that we could survive having to pay that. Actually, I'm quite sure we wouldn't. Then they would not have any jobs.
Okay, interesting point. Look, actually, a recent study by the Congressional Budget Office, when you have these big increases in the national federal minimum wage, yes, some jobs, some wages go up for, some set number of millions of workers, but we also lose millions of jobs.
All right, pause it. Let me just because every time this lie is going to be put out there, I want to say this. There's two sets of numbers he's talking about. One set of number is some set of people, millions of people, will get raises. The CBO was 100% sure that would happen, that millions of people will get raises. Then, on the other end of the ledger, how many people will lose their jobs? The CBO basically said, we don't know. We have taken 11 surveys on this or studies on this. They didn't do the most recent one, which showed actually that there would be no job loss, but they had other surveys that showed there would be no job loss. And so when we aggregate these 11 surveys, we have a range of job loss that goes from 0 to 3.1 million. And it could fall anywhere in there. We just don't know. So we're just going to call it 1.3 million because that's the average of those two things.
See, we ought to score. I can still read. So read the scores.
They did it. They've tried it in a few different places. They've tried it in Seattle. The job loss did not happen.
That's right. That's right. And there are other sort of modelings that show, but in terms of like real world data, there is no real world data that you could predict job loss at $15 an hour. Now it's difficult because there are places in the country where you would anticipate maybe there would be some job loss because simply the cost of living is so much lower, and the way that the revenue generated by businesses is lower. But $15 an hour, I think, based upon all of these reports, is probably around the safe area where you could do for a federal minimum wage. $20 an hour? Don't know. There's a question. But here's the best thing that we should do. Let's do the $15 an hour across the country, see where it's at. If there's a problem, we'll adjust it. Boom, bango, boombo. There you go. Very easy to do. Go.
Point. Look, actually, a recent study by the Congressional Budget Office, when you have these big increases in the national federal minimum wage, yes, some jobs, some wages go up for, some set number of millions of workers, but we also lose millions of jobs because a lot of these businesses, small businesses, can't afford it. Look, here's the Kudlow remedy for minimum wage. You ready? I'm ready. You need to take notes here. Pull the pencils out, please. This is very important. We have tremendous prosperity. We are growing across the board. Unemployment is down. Wages are up. Consumers are booming. It's across the board. Every conceivable subgroup, African Americans, Hispanic, Asians, and so forth, less educated, less skilled, are doing the best.
And then wages go up naturally.
So we can have an unlimited minimum wage through private sector prosperity.
That would be great.
You look at some of these.
Okay, we don't need to hear any more because listen,
you say there could be 3 drinks, but what about an open bar?
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with this. According to Larry Kudlow, consumers are booming. Everybody, even the dumb people, are working. It's all great. Except for we have millions of people, millions, as he said, definitively, who are not only not making the minimum wage, not making a living wage. That is the reality right now. We're booming. Everybody's booming. So Larry Kudlow's theory has one element that disproves it, and that is it's not working. It's not the case. Wage growth is anemic still. People are not getting a minimum wage. If your remedy for getting rid of the minimum wage was working, there would not be a desire for a minimum wage. But it's not. And the minimum wage has not risen in pace with productivity or the cost of living for decades. So
you go to a vet and they give you the coupons. They say you get 3 free beers with the coupons. Yeah, okay, maybe that's nice, but what if you went to a place and it just said unlimited? You just drink. That's the free market in motion. And by the way, they say stuff about us, send them back, whatever, whatnot. We're racist. You can be Asian and drink as much as you want. You can be uneducated and drink as much as you want. You can be black, you can be Hispanic, and Jewish. Just everybody's drinking.
All right. It's not just fanciful economics. Remember, Larry Kudlow was the guy who was talking about, if you go back and look at the footage of Larry Kudlow on Kudlow and Kramer or whatever program he had on CNBC in the summer of 2008, talk about how we're smooth sailing for the economy. You could not have been more wrong or incorrect or completely wrong on what was happening with the economy than Larry Kudlow.